It doesn't actually need to be that hard, which is very controversial. I deeply believe we all, each and every one of us, hold so much potential deep down, whether it's money you want, whether it's love you want, whether it's joy and bliss every single day, aliveness. I believe all of us have that potential. And what I've discovered over the years is that it actually doesn't need to be too complicated when it comes to creating your dream life. You just need to know what levers to pull, and then it becomes a lot more simple and a lot more effortless.
Trust flow, surrender, let go. Yeah. Trust flow, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for. Trust flow, surrender, let go. Trust flow, surrender, let go. Trust flow, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for. Yeah.
Welcome to the Highest Self Podcast. My name is Sahara Rose, and on this podcast, I love to talk about spirituality, but make it modern, fun, grounded, and relatable so it can actually serve your needs. One of the biggest questions I get is, how have I created the business that I have today, that I literally am paid to be me in all versions of me? It's crazy. Sometimes I pinch myself. I'm like, how am I like literally making 7 figures, and I'm in Bali and Egypt and India and talking about past lives and karmic relationships and embodying temple, sacred feminine, rose, serpentine, like whatever I'm interested in, I get to talk about and I'm paid for it. It's so freaking cool. Like, how? And I started to look back, and it was all of these mindset shifts that I made. Like it didn't happen randomly. No woman in my family even worked. My lineage comes from Iran, let alone living their purpose, let alone making money. I was told that you're going to get a job that you hate, and that's what life is. I was not around people doing things they loved. I never met anyone. No one from my small town in Massachusetts was doing anything cool. So it's not that I grew up in like the, Will Smith's family or something, And if anything, my biggest block was, you can either do what you love and you're going to be broke, or you have to like sell your soul to make money. Like that is all I saw. Because as I went on my spiritual journey and I went to places like India and Bali, I was seeing people who are, like tantrikas and shamans, but they were all like struggling with money. And so I thought, okay, this is the crossroads. I'm either going to have to take the full spiritual path and pretty much never be able to travel, never be able to have, like organic foods and massages and things like that. Like just have a very simple life, but I can do what I love. Or I have to like become a real estate agent and like do something extremely masculine and financial, and I'll make money, and I probably will not have any time for anything spiritual and lose that and have to just kind of keep it as a hobby on the weekend sometimes. Those are the two paths. Like my mind created this very like linear thing. And it was as I further went along the journey that I started to realize like, oh, I went through my health challenges for a reason, because I'm here to share about them. And I don't know how it will happen, but I know I'm meant to share this in a deeper way. And then I got the idea to write a book, and then I wrote the book, and then I got a book deal, and then Deepak Chopra wrote the foreword of the book, and then I wrote 3 more books, and it just kept going. And then I was like, how do you make an online course? And I just started following that thread, and then my membership community, and then my institute, and it just kept growing. And throughout it all, I continued to stay anchored within myself, into my dharma, into my soul's purpose. And I realized that the more I was living my purpose, actually the higher levels of abundance I would create, because I was being true to myself. And I started to meet other people who were doing that, like making friends with people and seeing, and I'm like, oh, wait, this is like a universal law. Like it's not just me. And so years ago, I came across this queen named Mimi and saw that she was first starting to record these activations and witnessing her journey grow. And she was on the podcast like a year and a half ago. And the platform has even exploded since then. And she's someone who, in her own way, walked that path of not living in a family that had, abundance and entrepreneurial, like in this kind of way mindset. And she listened to the synchronicities, found her soul's purpose, began embodying it, and then creating maximum levels of abundance, living in Bahamas with the love of her life. She just got married, like all these things that you're like, whoa, how did that happen? And in this episode, we break it down. We break down exactly what she did, what were the limiting beliefs she unblocked, and the tool that she created. So what she was doing to rewire her own brain that brought her from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset, from not knowing who she was going to be in a relationship with to manifesting her ideal man, who I'm going to do this one right after the episode, girls, all these things. And she actually has now created this platform called Activations. It's an app, and she's given us a free 2-week trial on activations.com/Sahara. I'm going to just put that in the very first link so we don't miss that, because that's 2 weeks free plus a huge discount. And so she's created this, like, literally her dharma of like, wait, I went through this really hard thing. This is what actually brought me out of it. And now how can I share with other people? And so she's sharing with us, like, and I asked, like, you know, some of my, I opened up about what my type is in the recent date I went on. Can't believe I shared that. Good thing no guy ever dates listens to this podcast, so I'm safe here. It's a safe space on the internet. So we talk about that. And she actually guides us through an activation right here on the conversation on this podcast. So that's really freaking cool. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. And before we get into this episode, be sure to hit subscribe. That allows you to stay in the loop for future conversations. This podcast is also on YouTube, so you could be watching us in person, Spotify video, and the Apple Store. So be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with future conversations, and let's get into this one. All right. Well, welcome back to the Highest Self Podcast, Mimi. It's so good to have you back.
I know. I'm so excited for this, Sahara. Like we were talking about off air, since I last saw you, it's been like a whole year and a bit, year and a half. Yep. And we were just catching up because you were in Dubai and then Bali, and now back in LA. And I feel like so much has advanced in the past year.
It's been crazy. I mean, it's like what can happen when we truly like commit to creating a change in our lives. And like I was talking to my friend Krista of almost 30 about you.
Krista.
And it's like what the bigness of your purpose that you have manifested and created for yourself is so inspiring. And I know so many people right now are in this like transitional place in their careers where they're like, okay, it's time for me to stop playing small. It's time for me to stop, you know, kind of staying in the spiritual closet or holding back who I really am. And I'm just really curious. I mean, I want to talk with you about like abundance, because even just like the levels that you're doing things are so huge, and career and how you're stepping into your purpose. But people might look at you now and be like, oh my God, you have this incredible app, you have activations, you are impacting, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. And, you know, your app is doing so financially well. And you live in the Bahamas. I was like, girl, I want to live in the Bahamas. But you didn't start there. So can you share how you grew up and what was the money story and everything you were taught about money growing up?
Okay, well, it's a really great thing to talk about because I enjoy actually sharing how different life used to be, because it allows people to realize that they can also create a better life for themselves, even if they didn't come from a lot. And that's actually a really big thing. So I didn't come from a lot of money. My parents are artists and I love them. They're amazing people. But the one thing growing up that they would fight about and the whole household would be stressed out about is money related stuff. And there was just a lot of sadness and fear and negativity around money growing up that it was really ingrained to me as a child. And I remember that feeling of just not feeling safe when you know, I'm overhearing my parents argue about how we can't afford something. And I remember that little girl feeling this feeling of like, oh, I wish things were different. And yeah, so we didn't have a lot growing up. And I actually think that's what inspired me to be financially free myself and to create so much wealth for myself. It's because it was such a polarity when I was younger. It was very lacking. And that was kind of what got me into personal development. I'm not going to lie. At the beginning, it wasn't anything but money. I just wanted to become my best self so I could become wealthy and safe finally. So it actually, in a way, motivated me. But yeah, so I felt a lot of fear growing up around money. There were a lot of limiting beliefs that I was told, like money, people that have money aren't happy. Rich people aren't happy, or they cheat on each other. So their relationships are not happy, or all these crazy things. That
I've heard those for sure.
Really wild. Yeah. So
what else? Like, what are some other limiting beliefs people may have around money, just so we can see them in ourselves?
that you can't have fulfilling relationships once you're rich because people are just going to try to use you the whole time. That's a big one. That it's really hard to maintain once you get there. And it's like you're constantly on this uphill battle. And also the biggest one is I'll be happy when. If you want to make money and you're holding on to the belief, I'll be happy when I have money, then you're never going to be happy and you're going to live in this perpetual state of lack. And that's not going to get you there.
I love that nuance because a lot of people, they look at their money stories and they're like, okay, so I need to make a lot of money so I can be safe. But you're saying if you think that money in itself is the thing that's going to make you happy, it's also not that.
Okay, this is a very interesting topic.
Yeah, let's dive into this nuance.
Yeah, because I will be honest, and I'm going to be completely honest and say that making more money in a way has made me happier, but I've also been doing the work on myself. So I don't really know, it's not the only thing that's going to make you happy. There are so many wealthy people that are not happy, but there are so many poor people that are not happy, right? So it's difficult, but it does relieve a lot of stress from you. And it does bring you joy to be able to give to the people you love and to be able to support certain causes and things that you believe in and have that freedom. So there is definitely an interesting point here. And when it comes to, does money make you happy? Because it has. I feel happy when I'm in a beautiful hotel, and I feel happy when I can buy, my sister a present that she's been wanting, or I feel happy when I can help out my parents. I feel happy when our car just broke down last week. And it's like, it's fine. Let's just if we have to get a new car, we have to get a new car, So, happiness is one of those things that you can cultivate at any income level, but money brings this certain safety and ease to life, and it reduces the amount of things that you get stressed out about. So I think wealth and money is a very positive thing, and I love to talk about it. And I think that it's achievable for every single person listening, having more money and not being worried about paying rent the next month, or not, getting that crappy sinking feeling when you look at your bank account and you're like, oh, I don't know if I have enough. That's not a good feeling. I don't think anyone wants that, right? So it's possible to create that. And I honestly, my whole life has been this constant, the past 10 years of my life since I've been in personal development, it's been this constant stream of synchronicities and coincidences since I've started really doing this work. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm not special. I just started listening to that little voice inside of me that said, what if there was more out there? So any single person listening, I deeply believe we all, each and every one of us, hold so much potential deep down, whether it's money you want, whether it's love you want, whether it's joy and bliss every single day, aliveness. I believe all of us have that potential. And what I've discovered over the years is that it actually doesn't need to be too complicated. It doesn't actually need to be that hard, which is very controversial. I talk about it. Effortlessness when it comes to creating your dream life. You just need to know what levers to pull, and then it becomes a lot more simple and a lot more effortless.
And I feel like that is such a big piece, the synchronicities that are guiding us towards the way that we are meant to make money. Because I think we can all agree that having more money, the ease on the nervous system of I travel a lot. My bag is always overweight. And, before it would be the most stressful freaking thing of what am I going to take out of my bag? How much can I fit into my backpack? How am I going to get it on? Because it's $50 to pay overweight and I can't do that. And now I fill it up and I know it's overweight because I'm just going to pay the overweight fee or check an extra bag, which apparently is a little less actually, but and I don't have to worry about it so much. It's whatever, let it go. And so I think we can all agree, that feels really good. But then I think where I've noticed even my own beliefs in the past get caught are but the things I have to do for money are things I don't want to do. Yeah. And so it's I want the money, but I don't want to sell my soul for the money. So then I'd rather not have it than have to do what it takes to make money.
Okay,
so can you share about that?
This is interesting because I actually believe that you'll make the most amount of money possible if you are so in line and in tune with your soul's purpose. If you're doing something, this is actually something that came up today because my team was texting me these screenshots we got on Instagram of this copycat app and this girl that's basically doing the same thing. And I'm like, well, does she not know that we have a trademark? Whatever. Anyway. And I at first I got annoyed, but then I was like, I'm actually not worried because I know the laws of the universe and I know that will never actually kick off. Like that person will never be successful if they're trying to copy something. There is an energy when it comes to copying and it just doesn't work. So that means that she's not in her soul's purpose because she's trying to take someone else's like soul's purpose or goal and replicate it. But I deeply, deeply believe when you get in tune with your intuition and you keep flowing into the things that you know are meant for you in this life path, that is your true goal. And your true goal is so much easier to fulfill as opposed to you trying to do something that's not actually aligned with you, whether that's seeking a bit too much inspiration from somewhere, or whether that's your parents telling you that they want you to be a doctor, whether that is you telling yourself, that you need to do something a certain way, but not actually realizing that's not your deep soul purpose. And leaning into intuition over and over and over again, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as a woman, I think it's our biggest strength. And that's my biggest piece of advice, I think, when you're creating, a new business, especially, it's like lean in to what you deeply feel in your soul is your thing, create something, and it's going to be so much better and more abundant that way.
So this reminds me, because I listened to these incredible activations that you have, and I know you're releasing a new series on entrepreneurship. So how can people tune into, like, I think everyone's like, okay, I don't even know what the thing would be that I would do related to my soul purpose that would also bring me, because I do believe each person is meant to have a certain level of abundance, that like what we're desiring is desiring us back. And so certain people, it's like, for their soul's purpose, like for yours is like, maybe you really are meant to like be in like private jets and this and that. And that's why you're creating this kind of business. For someone else, it might be, I just want enough to buy land in Costa Rica and like live off grid. For someone else, it could be X amount, but we can only do that when we can first be really honest with ourselves and then begin to create careers that are in alignment with our truth. So how can we use your activations? And if you can share what the activations are for really understanding what is the right purpose and career path for ourselves?
For sure. So activations are a new type of audio that I developed a couple years ago. Well, actually 8 years ago at this point. And it's not meditation, it's activation. It's a new category of sound. So just like you have your podcasts, just like you have music, just like you have meditation, those are all great for certain moments of the day. Activations kind of fit a new need that a lot of people have had. You can habit stack listening to these. So activations are designed to be listened to in everyday moments. So while you're walking the dog, while you're getting ready in the morning, these are motivational guided visualization audios that are paired with cinematic movie moment type music. And they are essentially programming you to feel like your future self. All of them are very transformation focused. So unlike meditation, that's amazing to clear your mind and calm your nervous system and really tune in. Activations are very energizing and you listen to them while you're moving, while you're doing things. So it's kind of like a modern take on the Pavlov's dog theory, classical conditioning. Pavlov rings the bell, the dog salivates. So listening to an activation, flooding your brain with new thoughts and beliefs and a new energy while you're, say, doing your skincare routine in the morning, soon enough, you don't even need to be listening to an activation to feel empowered, abundant, confident, magnetic when you're doing that. So really it is reprogramming the brain in kind of a subliminal way, but also in a conscious, listening to this guided verbiage and this motivational music at the same time. So really it reconditions you. It changes how you think, changes how you feel. And at the end of the day, how we think and how we feel creates our life. And how we feel about ourselves, how we see ourselves creates our life. Our self-image creates our life. So if you could just have a little tool in your back pocket to listen to kind of, dial up that aliveness feeling, that's activation. So we've...
So you have two that are about going on a first date. And I was listening to them because before a first date, especially on a fucking dating app, I want to vomit. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. This sucks. I'm going on a blind date with a stranger right now. I'm so nervous.
It's a blind date. You don't even know what he looks like. Okay,
it's like a hinge date, which is pretty much a blind date because I've never met them before. And I always want to cancel and I don't want to do it. And I literally start to feel nauseous. And so I listened and there was like one that was a longer one. And it was like
confidence?
Yeah. And it was like, this person's lucky to be on a date with
Yes.
you. I was like, that's right. They're lucky. Cause I think it was like I had this belief of like, I don't want to waste their time. What if I don't like them?
Oh.
And so I don't want to waste their time, or I feel bad,
Oh.
or I feel
You're confident. I like this.
yeah, I would feel bad. My limiting belief was like, I feel bad that I'm
Projecting
wasting their time,
Right.
But never thought about my own time.
Oh.
Like,
I thought you meant the opposite. Sorry.
no, I felt bad about their time.
No, but you should have it as the opposite. Like, I know. I'm not going to like them and it's going to be, yeah.
Well, I was worried I won't like them and I'll feel bad for them. Or I was also feeling bad that they would have to buy dinner and that I wouldn't like them. And so I was feeling bad about that. And so I was always like, could I get myself to like them?
No, yeah.
You know, and always like trying to find ways that I could like, because I have high standards, girl. And so it was like, yeah.
As you should.
Yeah. So it was like, I always kind of felt like they're never going to meet my standard. So then how can I make this, like I kept feeling sorry for them. And what that activation helped me do was like, no, like I get to have this experience of getting ready and going out to a restaurant and having a conversation with a person.
Yes.
And they got to know me. And, you know, and I provide so much freaking value. I like help everyone find their dharma on the day, you know, and like, and so it really helped rewire. And I could really see how it wasn't a meditation. It wasn't me listening to music, but it was like something else that was very empowering. So
Did you feel more confident on that date?
I did. And now I always listen to it. So it is a part of my pre-date routine
I'm so
now.
happy to hear.
Yeah.
Honestly, we have so many like niche activations in the app. Like I know Thanksgiving is coming up around the corner. I told my team, I'm like, we need to highlight our like calm down after a family argument activation for the holidays.
That part. That's a good one. I'm going to have that replaying the whole entire time now. But yeah, how do you even, we'll get into that. I'm like, how do you even record all of these? It's crazy. But tell us about how we can help find the right career and entrepreneurial path for ourselves to really have our highest level of abundance.
Absolutely. So it really starts with that, just connecting with yourself, that intuition, and just getting the numbing stuff out of the way, because a lot of us actually have clarity deep down, but we just can't reach it because we're numbing all day long. Think about how many of us are just glued to our phones. We're distracted all day long. Back in the day, people would sit around bored and just think. People don't do that anymore. So I think the first step, just to clear the cobwebs before feeling clarity, if you want to become a business person or you want to even get a raise at work, whatever it is that you want to do in your career or your business to get to that next level, the first step is just getting a bit of clarity, you know, like washing your brain a little bit. And I think that feeling of clarity comes so much more effortlessly when you just unnumb. And the things that numb you are things like mindless scrolling and doom scrolling for hours at a time, binge watching Netflix shows, even binge eating, overeating, over drinking, drugs, anything like that numbs you out. And it really makes it hard to feel clarity. So the first step is like, get yourself in a state of clarity, because that's the first step to transforming anything in your life. Clarity is the first step. Becoming is the second step. I know we spoke about this in our previous episode together, but clarity is incredibly important because that really sets the dial. It shows you where you're going to go, what road you want to go down, and then you know what actions to take, right? So that's the first step. The second step is to really tune in to your intuition. What are you good at? What are you bad at? Like, I honestly think that there's so much power in just sitting down with nothing except for you and your journal and putting a line down the middle of the page and writing on one side things I want to do, or the, you know, qualities in the man I want, qualities I don't want in the man I want, things I want to do in my business or my career, things I don't want to do, things I'm good at, things I'm bad at, just like getting clarity and sitting down and actually taking a bit of action. So that's the first step, I think. And then the second, if you want to get a little bit more practical here from an entrepreneurial perspective, is really try to find something unique is a really big one that I know I touched on earlier, but there's so much stuff out there. There are so many businesses, so many things that you can do. If you could even just take something and make it slightly more unique, that will help you stand out so much more. So that's a really big tip. But you're right in saying that we are launching an entrepreneurship series on activations. There are a dozen incredible activations, from writing activations, trying to figure out your purpose, to when you're facing a really hard business decision and you don't know which way to go, when you're feeling confused and stuck, because as you know, as especially a female entrepreneur, it can be messy. It can be hard. You cannot know what direction to take. But at the end of the day, if you keep showing up and you keep doing the work on yourself, because our businesses are a reflection of ourselves, right? The years that I have not been feeling my best are the years my business has not grown that much. The years where I am thriving in my own personal development, spirituality journey, it is crazy how much money you can make. So yeah, that's the number one thing I think, is just being the best you, to show up in the best way, and to have your business also embody that same energy. You're the one creating it. Just like how when you're pregnant, you want to eat healthy because your baby, you want it to be healthy. Same thing goes. If you're creating your business, you want it to feed it good stuff and align with what you desire.
It's so true. It really is it's all a mirror to ourselves. And we see it's us, like our business is going to show us our gifts. It's going to show us our shadows. Like it's going to show us the things that we don't really look at. Like I remember I would like sign up for all these subscriptions for things and forget about them, all these like website builders and plugins and this and that. And then they'd be going for years. And then I'm like, where am I spending all this money from? And it was because I just wasn't, and it was showing me like to be more because I'm very creative, but I needed to like be more organized. Like pay attention to things more. Do you have an activation for this?
Well, I'm sure we do. Yeah. But what I was going to say is a huge business realization that I had about a year and a half ago. It has literally transformed my business, and it's a new philosophy, a way of thinking. 10x is easier than 2x. This was a book that a business coach recommended to me. I didn't even read the book. I just read the summary. It's a very simple concept. 10x is easier than 2x. So essentially, I used to focus on so many things in my business that had the potential to 2x my business. Like Pinterest, this, that, like I have all the different subscriptions and plugins. It was so messy and complicated and took so much time. I was burning out. And then I read this book. My business coach told me about it. And it essentially says, stop everything you're doing, simplify it. What are the 1 to 3 things that have the potential to 10x your business? If I asked you this right now, what are the
I'm already like, you're getting to me, girl.
10x. Yeah. If you made $1 million or whatever, 100,000 last year, how could you get to $1 million? If you made $1 million, how could you get to 10? Think way bigger than you're thinking. And stop doing everything that is not 10x. So now we actually stopped 90% of the things we were trying in the business. That wasn't even growing the business. And then we just started focusing on the 10%, that's our 10x. And I've doubled since I've had that realization just over a year ago. And this is one of the biggest pieces of advice I would tell anyone in business is 10x is easier than 2x. It is, because my entire team's focus is on 1 or 2 things. It used to be 10 things. Everyone was tired. Everyone was I tell my team, listen, you don't have to work for the full 8 hours a day. If we need that done, then great. But it's more about the 10x than it is about just busy work, right? So we've stopped doing all the things that don't have the potential to 10x our business. There are so many things that we try to do because we think we should, because everyone else is doing them. But I can tell you right now, you don't actually have to do them. Anyone listening right now that has a business that feels like there's so many things to test and do, just try to figure out 1 to 2 things that could 10x your business and put all of your energy and focus on that. It'll make it easier to grow, and you're not going to be as burnt out. You're going to feel more magnetic because you're not going to be as burnt out, and things are going to flow.
And that's really what living your Dharma, your soul's purpose is all about. Mm-hmm. It's like your zone of genius,
yes.
And your zone of genius is the thing that no one else can do. And it's going to lead to the most abundance and the 10x growth. Whereas I was trying to Pinterest and then repost things on TikTok and then do them on shorts and do them here and there. When you said what's the thing that would 10x for me? I think if I did 2 podcasts a week, because it's I love podcasting. I love having these conversations, but then I'm doing all these other things that I'm oh, wow, maybe it's just doubling down. So guys, do you want 2 episodes a week? Will you really listen to them? So
I think we do. Let's go.
Yeah.
We want to listen to Sahara.
But I think a lot of people, it's that. I think step 1 is that clarity of I don't even know what is the thing that could 10x. So can you tell us more about, or the activation that we can do on the clarity. And do you have like a discount or something that you can give our people, or
For sure.
a little free experience or something?
Yeah, I can definitely give you guys a discount here. So we can't do discounts on the App Store because Apple don't let us. But what we can do is like a special link for your audience if you want. We can do like activations.com/Sahara. Is that good? Just your name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Locked in. By the time this episode is live, that link will be live.
Okay.
And you know what we can also do? We can add your list of favorites, like your favorite playlist or whatever on there. So if anyone's interested in starting and doing the 2-week free trial, they can also look at what your favorites are and start there.
Yeah, and we can all do the entrepreneurial career activations together.
Yeah, the entrepreneurship series. I think it will be out by the time this episode's out. But yeah,
Because I actually feel in this own place in my life of I've closed down my coaching institute.
Yeah.
And I had that institute for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And it was so much of what I share about here on the podcast and have focused on. And it was just time for that chapter to close. You know, I was a different version of myself when I started it. And I've just been, like I told you, I was living in Bali and India and Egypt and just going so much deeper into my own spiritual path and the sacred feminine and less in the coaching space. And I just feel like it was a beautiful chapter that I outgrew. And now I'm in this place of like, what's my niche? Like, you know, what is this next version of me? And so I'm excited to actually do these activations myself because I do feel for me, it is this mix of sacred feminine, beauty as a spiritual path, but also like the serpent mysteries and the rose lineage and the priestess and seeing ourselves as a temple. And I've been writing this new book that I've been working on this year. But what advice do you have for people that have a lot of different ideas? We're very multi-passionate. So I could see like all these different directions my life could go. I'm like, maybe I start like a jewelry line or, you know, this. And so what advice do you have of like, we want to do all these different things, but how can we choose what's most important to focus on now?
Yeah. So it's easy to say the 10X thing when you don't know what the 10X thing is. So the first step, my opinion, throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. That was my entrepreneurial kind of motto when I was first starting. I had so many different businesses or ventures I was involved in before I ever started acting.
So how do you know how all out to go? Like at what point are you like, it's, because what if people
tune back into yourself and your intuition? There's a balance, and it's not the same answer for everyone. That's the thing. I wish there was the same answer for everyone, but you need to just keep tuning into yourself and know when it's time to move on and know when it's time to lean in. And the more intuitive you are, the more that your soul is going to direct you in the direction that you need to go in, right? And when you feel connected, the path unfolds itself. When you feel disconnected and numb, you are confused. But taking action is the number one thing that will give you clarity. If you don't know where or what, direction you need to go, and throw the spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks, try many different things, and then lean in, analyze.
Yeah, I think that it is such a discernment, and like we need to know, and it's like a very, very subtle energy of knowing when to let go of something.
Yeah.
When an old career, an old chapter is no longer working, and to not let it get so bad. I think sometimes we try to force something and hold on for too long.
But that energy repels what you want. It repels it. So my whole theory with manifestation is I'm actually not very strict on these exact situations happening. What I'm strict about is the feeling that I want to create. And that could mean many different things. So my future self frequency, I call it, I think we spoke about this in the last episode too. My future self frequency is, it feels this level of abundance where it's I kind of feel like I'm in the middle of a castle with a moat around me. I feel very untouchable. Anything I want to do, I can do. Anyone I want to give to, I can give to. Nothing bad can happen to me from an abundant financial perspective. It's kind of this new energy that I've been getting into. And I feel radiant in my health. I feel love every day. I feel so much passion for what I do. And that very specific, unique frequency that I dial into could mean many different things. It could mean my house.
Can you guide us through how we can tune into what our abundance frequency is? Because I liked that visual of the moat. I've never thought of that.
It's all about feeling. Yeah. You know this. The listeners probably know this too, but it's a really healthy reminder. When you want to tune in to the frequency that you desire to call in more, which is, it's very, very simple. What you exude, you attract. Okay. So It is your body inside and around you. Don't think your visualization, feel your visualization, okay? In your body, and it comes from the heart. Your heart is literally the most powerful radio signal to what you desire. So just with whatever you're doing right now as you're listening to this podcast, feel your body, acknowledge it, feel the energy inside of you, the energy around you, tune into it. Okay, now think about your future self, the version of you that has everything you want and more, the most abundant, rich, happy, joyful, blissed out, healthy, loved up version of you. Okay. How does it feel to be her now in your body? It's not hard. Just tune into it. Don't overcomplicate it. How would it feel to be who you want to be in this moment? To exude that energy, to feel it inside every single one of your cells, like you are in this bubble, this energetic bubble of this frequency. And perhaps that frequency has a level of abundance in there that just feels so safe, a level of abundance that makes you feel untouchable. Like I was just saying, a moat around you of so much wealth and abundance that is so enough that makes you feel like nothing can actually happen to you, like you're safe no matter what. What is that number for you? It's different for everyone. What if it's the feeling of a yearly income? What does that feeling give you? The goal that you have financially? What does that make you feel inside and around you? And then you can layer in other areas of your life. Love, for example. How does it feel to be loved by someone that you desire? You might not even know them yet. How does it feel to be so loved up and so in tune with your best self in your romantic life? Your health, how does it feel to be radiant and healthy and energized every day? Anything else that you're trying to call in, just bring it all, mix it all into the same frequency inside and around you, layer it in. And if it helps, you can start with one emotion at a time. You can start with abundance in your body, and then you can layer in health, and then you can layer in joy, you can layer in love, but just feel it, okay? And when you are embodying this, and if you're closing your eyes right now, by the way, try to slowly open them while holding on to this energy. And if you have to close your eyes to get back in, do that. But try to speak with your eyes open or live with your eyes open while you're holding on to this frequency, because it's important to be able to live with it, right? So many of us in meditation will close our eyes and open our eyes, and we're kind of like the same person we were before. It's really important. That's the difference with activations, is that it actually teaches you to live your future self in daily moments and conditions you to be her in these everyday moments, right? So I hope that little exercise helped, made you feel more magnetic. And the trick is to feel that and be that. And then naturally, you're just going to start acting like you're already there. And when you do that, you start to magnetize yourself towards all these different opportunities. And even bringing it down, I was reading this thing about quantum physics the other day, and it actually spoke about how like particles attract like particles. And it's like, I thought to myself, we are literally made out of particles. Can you imagine? It just makes so much sense to me, the reality of this, of you being an energetic being made up of atoms and particles. If you are vibrating at a certain frequency that's aligned with health and wealth and happiness and love, it's kind of inevitable that that's what you're going to experience in your life. But so many of us get bogged down. We try it for a day and then it doesn't work immediately. And we think, oh, this didn't work. But life is a mirror, but it happens like a boomerang. You throw the boomerang and it's coming back, and then you fail and you quit right before because you don't believe it, but you just have to wait an extra few weeks or days or whatever it is. So just remember that, I've been reading a lot lately about this and coming back to like my core belief system of how the universe works and how the world works. And it's this like concept of life is a mirror. And you have to prime yourself to see if something that is unfavorable, if that's happening to you, you have to immediately think, oh, the mirror slide hasn't adjusted yet. I know that I'm living in a new reality right now. It just hasn't adjusted yet. And just keep having faith even when it's hard. And then when you can break through and actually maintain that faith, that's when so much abundance comes your way. But you need to be familiar with the feeling. That feeling I just got everyone to do in their bodies, you must get so familiar with it. Make it feel normal, okay? Don't put too much importance on it. Your goals that you have, like move towards it, have the intention that this is mine, have the knowing that this is mine, but don't put it on a pedestal. Don't say, I'll be happy when I get there, because that's going to create separation. You need to just be on the same exact frequency and live it in the moment.
And that reminds me of the feeling of falling in love.
Yes.
Like when you are in love with someone, you are in that same frequency. And that's what makes that moment so incredible. And you replay it in your mind like again and again, because you were like two atoms operating in the same frequency for this moment of time where you're so present with each other and you're like dancing with each other's cells. And it's like the spark that creates the big bang that created the universe. Like that's why falling in love is the most like insane high, because it's like, it's literally what God consciousness is, you know? And like, I've had that moment. There's probably like one person in this dating journey and it was just like, oh my God. And it's like, you know, and that person doesn't want a relationship. And so it was like hard for me, but it's like, okay, the mirror of like, what's the part of me that's didn't want a relationship, wasn't ready for a relationship, because it was like always a mirror and like practically we would not have worked. But it was that feeling that now I know is possible, that I won't settle for anything less than that, you know? And I feel like that's what these things help us do, of like show our bodies like, oh, this is what it's like. So don't just settle for breadcrumbs of abundance, of love, of anything in life when you are already operating at that frequency.
So important though, not to make it overly, to create excess potential when you want something. So, and I actually had this lesson a month ago. Well, I wanted something really badly and things were happening that were not supporting that thing, you know, manifesting. And I said, what's going on? I'm usually really good at this manifesting thing. And I had to realize that I was actually giving it excess potential. Quantum physicist Vadim Zeland talks about this in his massive book, Reality.
So you were kind of hyping up in your mind, you're saying?
No, I just wanted it too badly.
Okay.
I wasn't comfortable with it. It felt like I wasn't living it now. And funny enough, since I've, you know, I was like, wait a minute, just like pulse check, what am I doing? Now I just have to be in the energy and then it'll come. So many more advancements have happened.
And that's even like with my story and the dating. It's like that experience of love is not defined with that one person. No. And it's like so easy for my mind to be like, but that person, why couldn't it have worked with that person? And it's like, no, that was my love. I have that feeling inside of myself.
Yes.
And now that I know it's possible and it's there, I will magnetize a situation that's not just a moment of it, but to live in it, to stay in it, to not just do the meditation, open your eyes and you're back in your old reality, to live like that. And as you guided us through that experience, I was tuning into what does abundance feel like for me. And it's like a cornucopia of like fruits, like an altar, like, you know, in Persian culture, it's very maximalist. Like our tables have like so many fruits and candles and
colors,
offerings and colors. And we were always making altars. It's like how we celebrate the new year. And so that, and then I was also just imagining like a feather boa. Ooh. And I'm like reclining on this velvet couch and it was like this like violet purple. And also it was the feeling of having a home. Yeah. And I would say if I tuned into the energy of abundance 1 year ago when we last saw each other, it was like to be free, to travel, to, you know, explore something new. That's because I was like in my apartment for a long time. And so I was craving that going out into the world. And now I've been in Airbnb after Airbnb and I'm like, oh my God, to have all of my things in a place, like to open the closet and my clothes are there. Like that's what abundance feels like for me. And that's why I feel like it's so important to connect back to ourselves, to do these activations, these practices, because it's a moving target. It's not always the same.
No, exactly. But the beautiful thing about just tuning into this future self, and I was going to get to this point, I forgot to say it earlier. The beautiful thing about being in that future self frequency and having that as the goalpost of what you're trying to manifest means that the actual what is still up to, you know, it's not up to you necessarily. It's still going to be a pleasant surprise. You're still going to experience awe and wonder. So I'm very strict on my future self frequency being the goalpost.
What if you have a type?
But listen, I'm strict on the goalpost, but I'm not strict on the when and the how, right? Okay. But you can have a type and that's fine, but just be open, because the more that you control, the more you resist, right? And I'm the same. Like I have to learn that lesson all the time. Like we know what we like. We like what we like.
So do you think when you're doing activations when it comes to love now?
Yeah.
Let's say I have a type. I have a very specific physical type. And it's like I can share it with you guys. Fine.
Go on.
It's like tall guys, they tend to be like Indian a lot, most of them, like North Indian. They've been Punjabi specifically. Yeah, like it's a specific culture. And they have long, his name is not a specific person. No, because I found like multiple versions of this person. And so long hair, beard, creative, fun. Like we have always like a very fun rapport, and it brings out my most fun, creative, expressive side. Like those have been the types of people. And I tried recently dating someone who is multiple people who are not this type, but most recently this Danish guy. I've never been attracted to a Danish person. To be honest, I wasn't even attracted to him. But I was like, you know what? He's nice. He's consistent.
He fits the box.
Yeah. And as I talked to him, we had so many things in common. He loves to travel. He likes philanthropy. He likes all these things. I was like, wow, this is super cool. But there was no attraction there.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Maybe it can grow over time. That's what they say. Like, and it just wasn't there.
Okay, my question is, stop focusing on all the other, just focus on how your dream man makes you feel. How does your dream man make you feel? That's the only thing you should be focusing on. Don't focus on his height. Don't focus on, give a short guy a chance. No, I'm kidding. Don't focus on anything external. Just focus actually on how
So not even who they are, but just how they make you feel.
Just how does your energy feel in the presence of them? And maybe you feel very safe and like delicate, and that could translate to him being tall, whatever. So how do you feel when you think about being in a deep, beautiful partnership with this person? Don't think about the looks, think about how he makes you feel. And I'm telling you, Sahara, if you can just tune in to that frequency in your daily life, you're going to attract someone who gives you that feeling. And you're going to start noticing. It doesn't matter as much about, if he's from this place in the world, whatever it is. Yeah. If he's going to make you feel a certain way, that Danish guy did not make you feel that way. Yeah. Okay? So it's less about it. Don't overcomplicate it. I like to say this all the time. Don't overcomplicate it. Just how does he make you feel? How does being rich make you feel? Okay. What's that energy in your body that being abundant makes you feel? What about being healthy? Like anything that anyone wants, anyone listening right now, anything that you want, just hone in on the feeling of what it feels to have it and think about what version of you gets to live that kind of life and have that kind of thing, right? And you're obviously so in your magnetic energy. You always have been. Every time I've met you, you are so magnetic. You are so feminine. And I have no doubt that this perfect person for you is already in transit. He's not even out there. He's already on his way to you. So that's the other energy we got to tune into. What we want is already on our way to us. It's already ours. It just hasn't happened in this moment in time, but it's already ours. There's a reality where it's already existing, and we just have to tune into that.
I love that so much. And yeah, it was exactly that the version of myself that I love to be in a relationship is the one that feels the most playful. I love that version of me.
Yeah.
When I can be silly and laughing, like that's who I want to hang out with. That's Sahara. But then I'll go on dates with people that it's like, we're very intellectual or we're very, this. And then I'm like, I leave and I didn't feel how I wanted to feel.
It's like, I'm bored.
Exactly. Or like they check, I guess it's like this ideal person for me. I've never met someone that does both the safety and the fun. It can be fun and it's unsafe here. And then it's like safe and it's fucking boring,
It exists.
It's the both. So I'm going to definitely listen. Do you have some good activations on that?
Gosh, we have so many.
Because can you tell us your relationship journey for a bit?
I don't know if I mentioned this last time we spoke, but this is like the craziest manifestation. First of all, I got married 3 months ago.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you guys live in the freaking Bahamas.
Yeah, life
I'm manifesting to be your neighbor.
Listen, I'll manifest it too, Ben, my husband, and I, we met just over 8 years ago. And on October 12th, 2017, because before I launched activations, I would just create my own activations because I couldn't really find anything out there like it. I would find all this cinematic music online, go in GarageBand, mix it with these voice memos I'd record to myself. So it was this whole like side project I would do. Anyway, on October 12th, 2017, it's still on my phone, I recorded an activation.
What day is it today?
Today?
Yeah.
October 20th.
Okay, I was thinking it's October 12th. Okay.
So literally 8 years and a week ago.
Wow.
I recorded an activation describing my future partner and describing how he made me feel. And I met Ben October 13th, 2017, the following day. I don't know. It's coincidence. It's crazy. But I was in this mode. That was like the most recent activation I was listening to. I was living my day. Like, yep. And this is the crazy thing. I actually think he was out of my league at the time. This is before I went through my transformation. He was like the most attractive person I had ever been with. Like, I was literally like the old me before starting to do this work and listening to activations and doing all this self-development stuff would have probably put him on too much of a pedestal, created that excess potential and created resistance. And he probably wouldn't have been I honestly deeply believe that activation that I recorded, that I listened to on repeat for the following 24 hours made it so that I was very magnetic and towards him and he was magnetic towards me. And I didn't create this like overly important, I didn't put him on a pedestal. I felt very aligned with the feeling that he gave me. So we just kind of meshed. And then since then we've been, completely inseparable. But obviously that was very quick. We have so many, attract your dream partner, writing activation. On the app, we have a whole writing category that helps journaling. If you need more guidance, we also have just normal activations for every moment of the day. So a lot of relationship ones. By the way, I love how this podcast has been like abundance and love. Like it's
connected. Yeah, it's so connected. Because I will say I'm living my dream job. Yes. Like I get to be paid to be myself. I get to be paid to have conversations that I love to have. Like, 10 years ago, if you told me this is genuinely how you're going to be making your perfect amount of money, that you can travel the world freely, fly business class, go to spas, like even going through my divorce, knowing that I can just live wherever I want. I don't have to worry about it because I was financially still providing for myself even then. Like I wouldn't have even believed it was possible. And so because I've walked this path around the abundance and the career and the purpose, I know that it's possible. Just like you're speaking of a relationship right now that I'm like, I've never seen that before, but you're living it. So you're like, no, trust me, girl, it's possible.
And get familiar with the feeling now.
Exactly.
Like make it so you that you are already in this like beautiful, safe, playful relationship with yourself, that you're just feeling it constantly. And it's going to happen. It's just, this work never fails. It doesn't. It's just a matter of time. So just keep showing up.
I think like, do you ever have people that they're like, I'm afraid I'll feel it and it won't happen and then I'll feel let down?
It will happen. You're just not being patient enough, or you're not actually being that person. Because the version of you that has it, if you become them by embodying their energy that reminds you to be them, and you start acting like them, doing things that they do, it's inevitable. It will happen. The biggest thing is don't be so strict on the how and the when, okay? Because you can't control everything like that, but just believe that what you want, if you can continue to commit to this practice, what you want is going to happen in a way that you might not expect. And don't we want that awe and wonder in the world? That's such a beautiful part of being alive, is that those like sudden little surprises. I didn't know I was going to live in the Bahamas. I never visualized that back in the day. I had no idea. All I knew is that I wanted to live a really interesting big life, and I wanted to do something unique and feel in my purpose and live a very abundant life. That's all I knew. I didn't know I'd have a home there. I'd have a home in London. I didn't know that I'd be with Ben. I didn't know I'd have the career I have today. But all I knew is that I wanted the feeling the end result would give me. There are so many different things. There are many different men that could give you the feeling that you're seeking, right?
I love that you said that, because I've been going through this thing around the word manifestation, how it's being used, of like, just say you're calling in this thing and just visualize that thing and do a vision board on it and command it from the universe and this, and then that thing is going to happen. And I'm like, it made me just turned off from the word. And I love how you're saying of like, you didn't know you were going to live in the Bahamas. You didn't know about this career. You didn't manifest this exact life that you're in, but it was the feeling, it was the essence. And I'm like, yes, that's actually the thing that we can actually control, right? It's like, and I mean, and we're co-creating it. We're not totally in control with that either. But like, whereas I feel like a lot of the manifestation world has become all around control, you know, of like, I want this and I know best. And it's like,
I want it now.
Yeah.
And the universe better give it to me.
As if the universe is like your little sugar daddy who's going to give you everything. And it's like, the universe is like, no, I'm the big dom over here. Okay. And you my sub. So, and so it's like, I got to just go with the Spanx sometimes, but find the pleasure in it. And so, but I love that of like, okay, I want to feel expressed, free, abundant. I can just start feeling that. And then it's like, there's all these different timelines my life can take. And that's where the surrender piece comes in of like, I don't know how it's going to happen. Now I'm surrendered to the unknown.
And be it now. That's honestly, that's one of my favorite like sayings that I've kind of like, you know, been talking about on a lot of the interviews I do and online and in the activations. Be her now. Those 3 words. I think I probably had mentioned it last time we spoke as well, but this is truly such a powerful, simple reminder. If you do anything, if you take anything away from this podcast, whoever is listening, just remember that if you can remind yourself to be her now or be him now, whatever, in everyday moments, whenever you are moving through your day, if you can just remember that and you just step into it, that is 90% of the equation. Because when you start to do that, you start to act like them, think like them, have the habits that person has. And then in turn, you're going to create that life, but it makes it enjoyable in the process. You can't hate yourself to a life you love. You cannot shame yourself to a relationship you love or to a body you love or to a career you love. You cannot feel so much negativity and finally get what you want. No, it has to be the reverse. You have to feel that joy and happiness and abundance now, and it actually brings what you want so much closer to you, so much faster. It's one of the biggest things. So the reminder that I give myself all the time that I used to literally have plastered on a Post-it note on my water bottle, on the back of my phone, have reminders on my phone, be her now. It's like my Nikes, just do it.
And then that thing happening, it doesn't even matter so much. Because if you already are her, if you already are that abundant version of yourself with the feather boa or in the mode or this, and like that's how you're walking through the day. That's the energy. It's like the variables don't even matter anymore. And then it's almost like the universe now has to like reorient to fit this new persona.
Even thinking about that could turn someone off that wants it so badly because they're like, no, but I want it. But the truth is you will get there no matter what. But it's a difficult challenge sometimes to just remove the importance, to just act as if to be her now, to just be in that flow and expect it to happen. And also, be happy in the moment before having it. We always feel like we're not allowed to be happy until we get what we want. We always feel that. Why? Yeah. It's so sad. Don't you want to live?
It almost like makes us, holds us like accountable, I guess, of like, let's say you want to make 6 figures or something. Then it's like this struggle feels like it's pushing you into doing it. And you're afraid, if I really feel abundant at $60,000 a year, then how will I ever get to $100,000 a year?
Right.
So I have to like feel the not enough-ness of now to push me into that.
But it doesn't work that way.
No,
That's not how it works. Yeah. So we have to remind ourselves when we feel that way. That's not how the universal laws work. It's not it. Because like attracts like, we all know that. So just simply feel more magnetic, feel more abundant, feel more confident, because that energy is going to translate. For example, if a listener wants to get a raise at work, okay, we actually have like pre-meeting confidence type of activations in the app. So those are really great to listen to. We actually had a user write in last week saying that she listened to before a big meeting type of activation. And she said that she got double the amount that she wanted. And it was because she came in there, negotiated properly, was confident, and also knew her worth. And a lot of us, especially women, feel unworthy. How in the world do we think we're going to manifest our dream lives when we are feeling unworthy? So you need to train yourself to be in that confident, that clear mindset mode before getting into big conversations like negotiating a raise, even going for a job interview. And I think one of the biggest things is that like act as if principle. Even if you don't feel it, it's not that difficult to act as if. It's act like you're like method actress. You know what I mean? It's kind of fun sometimes to just put on, this veil of confidence, even if you're not fully feeling it. And confidence comes from a deep level of self-love. And also it comes from decreasing importance about what others think of you, right? So I think confidence is such a big one when you're in a place of trying to make more money for yourself, negotiating a raise, going to an interview, knowing your worth. So just getting your mindset right before those big conversations is so important.
It's so true. And what you're saying is completely back to my science, of like, there's even math theories that show us that like the way that we feel about ourselves is what will be mirrored back in this like holographic world that we're in. And if we're waiting for that thing, but we don't feel it, it literally cannot happen. And I think sometimes it's like, we don't know how to change that state of like, for example, we want to make the money, but we're like feeling the scarcity of where we're at. And like people's brains are like, I don't even know how to feel abundant when I have rent to pay and this and that. And I think that's where these practices like activations and, journaling and all these things come in of like, you got to practice it. Like you can't wait. You have to like set the tone. You have to do some sort of like pattern interrupt, right? Like I know in the morning when I, often I'll freaking check social media in the morning. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And then I'm kind of in that but I'll do my morning breath work. And once I do the breath work, I notice the quality of my thoughts shift, the way I'm moving through the space shifts. Like I'm a different version of myself once I do it. And the days I don't do it, I'm carrying Instagram reel consciousness with me throughout the day as opposed to a breathwork consciousness. And so I love this with the activations of like, I remember even just doing that one before the date of like, oh yeah, like I can relax in this. And so I'm excited, and I'm excited for people to share in the YouTube comments too, like because I loved that story of she went in for the job interview and she got double. And it's so true. I mean, there's so much around women. We don't know our worth. We're still paid 70 cents to the dollar. And so the new paradigm is women having access to resources and being able to make money, because that is what is needed for our freedom. That is like what true like sacred feminine liberation is about. It's about us not waiting for a man as the vehicle for the money of like, I need to appease to him and have him choose me to have access to the life that I want. And my youth and beauty and sexuality is the price I have to give for that, which is going to go away at a certain time. And then I'll be replaced, which is like this tale as old as time story that we're told. And to repattern it of like, no, I get to be abundant for who I am. And it just keeps getting more and more and more abundant. And there's more than enough.
I have a really interesting kind of visual when I describe changing your brain, thinking new thoughts, rewiring old thought patterns. Essentially, it's uncomfortable the first few times, obviously, when you're trying to think a new thought and get into a new way of, thinking. Think about a potential limiting belief you have. Maybe it is, like they'll never give me this raise because that's just too much, or whatever it is. Think about this thought pattern as a big paved road. Okay, that thought in your brain is going down a big paved road. It's easy, to drive down that road. But then if you begin to consciously choose a new way of thinking, one that is more abundant, more magnetic, more confident, more seeing the potential in life, you essentially choose to take the bunny trail. Think next to this big paved road, you have a forest, and you can take this little bunny trail on the side of the paved road and that's thinking a new thought. It's uncomfortable at first. You're going to have to duck when there's a branch or move, leaves around to get through. But that first time is the most uncomfortable, because the more you take that bunny trail, the more it becomes its own little paved trail, and the more it widens. And then soon enough, one day, if you keep it up, it will become its own big paved road. And the old paved road will have, cobwebs and trees. You don't even want to walk down that road anymore, right? So just understanding that rewiring your brain is possible, thinking new thoughts and beliefs every day, becoming a new version of yourself, the best version of yourself, the authentic, most real version of yourself. That is so possible. And it just comes down to remembering in daily moments to be her now and to think like her, right? And then every time you do successfully, you're taking the bunny trail. So you can ask yourself when you're in a moment of, okay, I could go down this old path, think these old thoughts, or I can choose to change. In that moment, when you're at the crossroads, choose the bunny trail.
I love this so much. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this wisdom with us today. So people can use the link activations.com/Sahara.
Yes.
And they're going to get a huge discount and a trial as well. And so we're so excited. We're going to link that below. And where can listeners connect with Activations further?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first step is just the 2-week free trial. If you guys want to get that massive discount, I'll make that link for you and try it out. I'll share on the landing page your favorite so people can start it.
I'm going to do all the dating relational ones next too, and the abundance ones. So I'll have a little list.
Amazing. We have, over 700 activations in the app. We've released 3 to 5 new ones every week. There's so much content. We have a whole team of audio engineers, composers, writers. It's a whole big thing. And it's really everyone on the team is focused on helping our users feel quite different. This is, a tool that you can use if you're busy and if you want to rewire your brain in everyday moments. And we see very high success rates with it. So you guys can go check it out on that link. And actually, since we last spoke, I released a book called Activate Your Future Self. It's with Hay House and it's on Amazon. I think it's on sale right now on Amazon for like under $10. Yay. So if anyone wants to read Activate Your Future Self, it's also out there in the world.
Congratulations. Writing a book is like really just such a baby. So I'm congratulating you. We'll link that book below so people can learn more around what activation really is all about. So be sure to check out the link below. It's right there in the description, activations.com/Sahara. I'm so curious to see what you activate into your life. If you love this episode, share it with a friend. This is a really good one, especially if you're like, let's get our money right this year, or let's, really find true sacred unity and love and whatever it is that you're calling in. This is such a good one to listen to with your friends. Throw in the group chat, all listen to it and hold each other accountable. Do the activations together. It's the kind of thing that sometimes we fall off the bandwagon when we do things by ourselves. But when you have it's like a book club, when you have a friend or other friends doing it with you, it's such a powerful way to, share what's coming up for you and also have deeper conversations with your friends. I feel like so many of us were on that kind of complain and coffee train with hanging out with people. And instead it's what are you manifesting in your life? What are you calling in? And it allows us to have our friendships take us higher and higher and higher rather than be this thing that can drag us down sometimes. So this is actually such a cool thing to bring into a friendship. So be sure to share it. And if you love this episode, be sure to subscribe so you can stay updated on YouTube, Spotify, the Apple Store for future episodes. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.
Trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your inner guidance. Close your eyes and listen. Surrender, let go. So trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your